Hey guys, so you ready for it? Today's July 19th, 2024, 7:16 p.m. Central Time. So what do I never do on my channel? I never discuss conspiracy theories because I like to keep this channel as factual as possible, quote unquote. But today is a new day, and this conspiracy theory is way too good to pass up. So I was talking with a subscriber I talked to on the side on X, who actually follows me kind of everywhere, so they'll probably post below here as well. Probably more information than I'm going to put in this video, but beside the point, I can't believe, first of all, that Microsoft is so intertwined with the entire fucking globe that what happened this morning that's still going on, that is affecting banks, it is affecting websites, AWS, it's affecting airlines, it's affecting pharmacies, fucking UPS, for God's sakes. It's affecting everything. It's affecting all the Microsoft software. You name it, it's out. However, I have a Windows 7, so thank you, Microsoft, for not updating your old systems. So I'm perfectly fine. However, a lot of things are not. And it's crazy. So CrowdStrike obviously falls in this whole issues having problems as well, right? There you go. So the whole CrowdStrike, everybody's aware of CrowdStrike because of what happened in 2016. And he actually just sent me an article, and I opened it, and it says in here, and I'll link the article below. It was talking about 2016. It's titled "Malicious Cyber Activity Has Happened in the Previous U.S. Elections," Obama says. It says in 2016 U.S. election, this was published December 29th, 2016. It says, was not the first to be the object of malicious cyber activity. And it's talking about the DNC getting hacked, right? Because that's what ended up happening. And they said these data theft and disclosure activities could only have been directed by the highest levels of the Russian government. Yeah, we all know that's a bunch of shit now. Beside the point, at the end of this article, CrowdStrike's George Kurtz, who is actually the current CEO too, says foreign-based hacking is likely to get worse over time as it is increasingly a quick way to improve a nation's economy, said George Kurtz, a co-founder and CEO of cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike, which released some of the first research tying Russian intelligence sources to the hacking of the DNC. Quote, "When we think about the overall environment, it's just too easy to create malware that's not detected by the current generation of antivirus products," he told CNBC this week. Quote, "That's the reason that we're seeing a lot of these attacks. It's so easy to do. It's very little cost and very little opportunity to actually get caught." End quote. And that was the end of the article. But I'll post that below. Beside the point, right? So CrowdStrike had to do with the DNC type of situation. And so the guy I'm talking to on X, he wrote this to me in a message. I said it was brilliant. And apparently there's a lot of conspiracy about this going on X and elsewhere. But I'm going to tie this to the Trump shooter after this is kind of over with here. Have you seen all the connections between CrowdStrike and the swamp in D.C.? Hillary Clinton used CrowdStrike to start the entire Russia against Trump. In 2019, Trump mentioned CrowdStrike to Zelensky, which got him impeached. The CEO of CrowdStrike has affiliations with the Obama administration when Biden was VP. What are they deleting? Such a good thought. Such a good question. Such a good theory. I thought it was brilliant. It was like, because I'm not roaming X all day, so I haven't seen anybody else's shit. And I still am not, so I'm not sure what other people are saying. But beside the point, I thought that was a brilliant question because actually, with this Trump shooter, right, they're finding out that he has 3 offshore accounts, okay? Now follow me here. This is my conspiracy theory. This motherfucker has 3 offshore accounts at 20 years old, okay, which is odd. Especially since it doesn't sound like he came from a wealthy family or a family that has businesses elsewhere, meaning out of this country, which means he opened them himself somehow. Obviously, 20 years old, you can do that. I mean, you can do that at 18. You can do it even younger if you are able to get away with it. Beside the point, moving on. The fact he has these offshore accounts is suspicious. And I say that because they're pointing to there was an Iran-backed threat regarding Trump trying to kill him. Well, that Iranian threat has been there since he's been in office and killed Soleimani and pissed off Iran and basically bankrupted them. And that doesn't just go for Trump. That goes for everyone who's worked in his administration, period, including Pompeo, including everyone down the list, even his press secretary, okay? So that's not a new threat. However, keeping that in mind, they've brought that up, okay? Follow me here. I do not believe that this Trump attempted assassination is as simplistic as they're making it out to be, if you will. Okay? A lot of things have come out with whistleblowers, according to Josh Hawley, saying that there were DHS people involved on the ground, that it was inefficient, blah, blah, blah. Fine. Taking that all out of this concept, though. So just up to today. The FBI is sketchy as fuck. Period. They were sketchy under Trump. They started shit under Trump they weren't supposed to. I'd say medium level people, okay, really caused some serious problems. Who do we think of when we think of that? Peter Strzok and his little lover, right? Going back and forth over text that they were dumb enough to keep or have in the first place, for that matter. So the FBI is sketchy. And who's doing this investigation? Obviously, the FBI. Why anyone would trust the FBI at this point is questionable, especially when it comes to Trump, right? So they got this guy's phone and they finally got into it and they're looking through it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, what they're doing is they're erasing shit, okay? This guy was on Discord. Discord has since gotten rid of his account. They said that he wasn't on there in the recent months. But what was he saying prior to that? We don't know, because Discord ditched his profile. Why? Because Discord is private. It's encrypted. They want nothing to do with this, so they ditched it. The only thing we have online about this motherfucker is that he posted some stupid shit on, what is the fucking, I have it, Steam, okay, on the video platform, Steam. He wrote some ridiculous shit on the 12th of July saying that his debut is going to be July 13th. Everybody watch, or whatever the fuck, stay posted. So he anticipated being alive, I'm assuming, after this happened. Why he'd think that, I don't know. I don't think he's a very smart person. As much as they're saying he's smart, he got this, he got that, little academic bullshit, I think he's actually quite dumb. I think what ended up happening is the FBI got involved in this because this motherfucker was on the FBI's radar. Why? Because after January 6th, they FBI started, and Congress has tried to stop this, but they never really did, going through people's bank accounts around January 6th, looking for MAGA, looking for donations to the GOP, looking for guns, looking for ammunition purchases, all kind, like sporting goods of any kind when you made a purchase. They had keywords out there, okay? Trump, MAGA, Make America Great Again. American was one of the fucking words. So this guy, on January 21st, it sounds as though it was the day after or day of, so January 20th or 21st, this dude, who would have been 16 or 17 depending on when his birthday fell, probably 16, he made a donation to a Act Blue fundraiser. Pause for a second. I want the exact name of it, and I posted it on my communities thing when I was responding to stupid Eric Swall. Well, he donated to Democrat Act Blue campaign, quote, Progressive Turnout Project, end quote. It says the day of. So that was when he did it. So he did it January 20th. So January 6th, okay, the FBI started looking through people's records. January 20th, this dude makes a donation at 16 years old, likely, to Act Blue, which is a ridiculous, Act Blue covers all Democrat, people. It's Act Blue donates to specific campaigns. They go to super PACs. Act Blue is just like the one that's for the GOP, okay? So he donated specifically to that progressive campaign within Act Blue. So he used the processor Act Blue. The only reason I even know how that works is because I've donated to the GOP. So when he donated to that, as far as I'm concerned, he was on the FBI's radar. Why? Because I'm sure they're surveilling both sides. So this dude's donation at 16 years old, they probably went back and was like, wow, this kid's really young. Unless he used his fucking parents' credit card or some shit. That would be hilarious. How he donated, I don't know. Because you can't donate through PayPal. You have to donate, at least I've never done Act Blue, but you have to donate with a credit card, and I think a bank account might be an option, but I don't think PayPal is an option, or Venmo, or any of those things. So he used something. You could actually use a gift card. I did do that for GOP because I didn't want them having my credit card information, so I used a fucking gift card and it went through. But beside the point. So somehow he donated to this. The FBI has him on the radar, as far as I'm concerned, at that moment, because they're scanning everyone's shit, whether it be GOP related or Democrat related. I think they kept this dude on their radar. I think they targeted this motherfucker. I think they looked into him. It does not take very long to look into somebody's history, even a child, when you are looking at backgrounds. It means they pulled his parents up. They knew where his dad worked, where his mom worked, which, by the way, they are both fucking therapists, by the way. Therapists. Yes. They are both therapists, professional therapists. I believe that's what it is. I believe it's a therapist. It's not a counselor. So they knew what the parents did. They knew where he went to school. They obviously knew where he fell regarding politics. Now, in 2022, midterms was the first time this guy ever registered. He registered as a Republican in Pennsylvania. What did the Democrat Party do in 2022, specifically in Pennsylvania and other places, but targeted Pennsylvania? They told people to register as Republican, I think independent too, to fuck up the primaries and fuck up the people down ballot and mess with everything, basically. So what did this kid do? He obviously had a Democrat lean. I don't care what anyone says. You don't put money, especially a 16-year-old, towards a fucking political backing of anything, okay, at 16. As far as I'm concerned, done and over with. So he registered as a Republican. He probably voted to do some stupid shit, okay? Now that he was registered as a Republican, all that stuff goes into a database too. The fact they knew he was registered as a Republican, that's a state thing. They could pull that in a heartbeat. Think the FBI can't? Yeah, they can. So I think they've been watching this kid for a while. I don't think this is, and that's weird that they'd watch him all the way back that far. But for all I know, they could have, done something recently with this kid to radicalize him and looked back at records for progressive bullshit, because progressive people are crazy asses. All the progressives are crazy asses, period. There's a difference between Democrat, liberal, and progressive, and I think the progressives are fucking crazy. So for all I know, they did this within the last 6 months. Okay? Period. End of story. They found a young dude, donated to Act Blue, to a progressive campaign, registered as a Republican, probably followed his little bullshit online, whatever that would be, and then got into his head however they did, whether it be on Steam, Discord, or otherwise, got a hold of this kid and radicalized him. All of a sudden today, Microsoft has a freak out update, which I think's trash. I think they got hacked, if anything. Beside the point, CrowdStrike obviously is part of this situation. CrowdStrike was so goddamn sketchy and helped create this Russian bullshit that happened in 2016. So full of shit with what happened with the DNC. And the FBI never got access to those servers. I don't believe that for a second. Beside the point. The FBI CrowdStrike created this bullshit in 2016 and continued it through Trump's administration. So the question of what are they deleting, and when there was a presidential, prior president, but presidential nominee at this point, but presidential candidate, okay, especially Trump, had an attempted assassination on him, when there's going to be there's so much video out there of this kid. There's so much video of the Trump rally, period. There's so much personal video of this event prior to, during, and after this shooting. It is all over the internet. All over the internet. So I think what CrowdStrike might be doing is they are deleting things, and I think they're deleting things on behalf of the FBI, whoever fucked this kid up in his head, because I do not believe he was that brilliant by any means. They're deleting the FBI's trail. Whoever the hell that was in the FBI doing this business. And I think that they are going to say these offshore accounts, this kid had some sort of bullshit going on with the Iranian government, or I should say Iranian-backed militias out there, because it could be tons of people that are out there. I mean, you name it. There's tons of them. And I don't know of any specific, because I wasn't working during that time, or serving. I don't know any specific militia or group, terrorist group, that actually has Trump's head on their list of shit. So who knows? They could have easily, Iran could have easily given money to, who knows, anyone, name a group, it doesn't matter. They could have given it to the Houthis, which is a really trashy group and really small, for all I know, to do this. But the offshore accounts, the FBI is going to trace back to some group or some person, whatever, in the Middle East, that they're going to track it to Iran, and all this stuff's going to turn into a Middle East problem, that this shooter was involved with this and this. This is why he had offshore accounts. Supposedly this is where the money came from, and all this stupid shit. And then all the stuff that happened around Trump's rally that day was so suspicious to begin with. The Secret Service dropped the ball 100%, but so did the local police, as far as I'm concerned, because they were walking around. This guy was walking around. They had suspicious of him too. So it was like, what the fuck? So none of this makes sense. His rally doesn't make sense how that worked out, other than to say that perhaps some of the Secret Service on the ground, the ones that you'll find videos of on X, that have police written on the back of their bulletproof vests that are black, they're all in black, they look like cops. It says police, and then underneath it says Secret Service. For all I know, that could be some undercover FBI agent or some FBI agent who was just stuck there that day. I have no idea. No idea. But beside the point, whatever happened at the Trump rally is sketchy as fuck. But I think CrowdStrike is covering for the FBI people who may have radicalized this motherfucker as recent as in the last 6 months. Like I said, they could pull a background check on this kid. They can look at his hobbies. They can look at what he did online. He can look at their parents. The amount of information that the FBI can pull up on someone is absolutely absurd. They can get into your phones very easily, regardless of the fact they think that you can't. Like, ooh, Apple has all this security. Bullshit. These people are so engulfed in these tech companies, they can do a lot of shit. A lot of shit. Besides their normal way of pulling backgrounds, okay? They could have simply talked to his teachers. They could have talked to his friends, like just out and about. They could have talked to his classmates. Who knows how far deep this got with the FBI to try and target this kid? I don't know. But I believe CrowdStrike is currently deleting the information that would cause a trail for anyone who's concerned, who may actually figure out that the FBI radicalized this Trump shooter and fucked him up, and that they are creating some sort of pathway of accounts going from A to B with those offshore accounts, creating those types of transactions that weren't there before, of where that money came from. That's my conspiracy theory. This is Are You Ready For It? Take care, guys. Have a great day.